Rich, DMC 5 came out, I want to say 2 years ago, right?
No, I think it was 1 year ago.
Was it 1 year ago?
Yeah,
wow,
I think so.
bloody hell. COVID and lockdown has kind of warped my mind a little bit. But
I mean, almost 2 years in your defence. Almost
it was
2
January,
years.
right?
Yeah. It was early
February.
2019.
Yeah, and it was a fantastic game, right? You loved it.
Brilliant.
I didn't actually finish it, but I loved it, what I played. Now we have the special edition. And this is going to be interesting because the original was 4K 60.
Yeah.
But, anyway, here's a quick look at the modes. We've got ray tracing off, which is normal. We'll show you that in a minute. We also have ray tracing on graphics, which is 4K with ray tracing, but the frame rate takes a hit. And we'll talk about that towards the end of the video. And then finally, we have ray tracing on performance mode, which is 1080p, 60 FPS with ray tracing.
Right.
But before we move on to the ray tracing stuff, this is original versus special edition with everything off. So as you can see, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah, maybe the colours are slightly nicer, maybe, if I'm really desperately searching for something.
I don't know. Maybe it's like, because I had to get the brightnesses right, because like, look at that. I mean, it pretty much looks the same. So yeah, if you're going to buy the special edition and play with it off, then there's no point getting the special edition.
Yeah.
Unless you don't have the original. If you don't have the original, buy it, because it's a great game.
Yeah.
But we move on now, Rich, to the more interesting stuff, which is the ray tracing. The rest of the video is about ray tracing.
Okay.
And as you can see here, the ray tracing on the right, look at the kind of the smoke and the light, because ray tracing obviously is about natural lighting, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like the old way of doing it was they had to create light sources and do that. This is all, it's like, it was physics based as opposed to, I guess, artist based, but like look at that in the background, look at the light in there with where the tendrils are, like, and the ray tracing. So it's kind of that natural lighting that we're looking for, and I kind of like it. It's a little bit moodier. It makes it feel a little bit more like, look at this as well. This is the perfect thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and that's basically what ray tracing is. It's all about natural light, physics based as opposed to artist based, I guess. Like
authored light.
Yeah, exactly. Authored light versus natural light, and you get to see this throughout the video as well. Just things like the one on the right. I'd argue the one on the left could look slightly better, probably, but the one on the right looks with a softer light.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit more natural.
Yeah.
And I genuinely feel, especially for a game like DMC 5, it makes it feel incredibly more atmospheric.
Okay, that's cool.
Here's another good example. Like, if you look at the neon lights on the right, there's the 3 in the water, whereas on the left, there's only the 1. Like, because basically anything with the light source with ray tracing is going to get picked up with reflections and stuff like that. Whereas on the other one, they had to create the reflections.
Yeah.
Like the beam on the right with the tree. Again, so it's all about natural lighting, and I think that horse looks better on the right as well, Rich, right?
Yeah, I'd agree. Yeah, definitely more natural, as you say, and it lends to the kind of mood. Yeah,
so if you haven't played if you've played the original, it's very hard to go, get the special edition, because
well, I mean,
ray tracing at the moment isn't massive. It'll build and get bigger and better.
Yeah. I suppose you got all the Virgil stuff, but then that's available for the original as a download anyway. So,
well, all the ray tracing stuff is going to be available soon as well. I don't know whether it is now. But yeah, like look at the natural lighting in this room as well. It's like softer colours, which I kind of like.
Yeah, it's more subtle,
but it's more realistic, right?
Yeah, more realistic, more subtle.
So I'm a big fan of that. And yeah, these are a couple of internal shots. Like, as you can see, the one on the right, there's obviously a light source in the hall, and it's creating more of an illuminated hall.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, like, I mean, there isn't a lot between the two editions. But if you haven't played the original, then yeah, absolutely.
Well, I was going to say that's the problem, really, isn't it? There was such a great looking game to begin with. There's not a lot you can do with it.
Yeah, and look at the darks now because of the light. The actual proper light,
the shadows,
the darks, the shadows, and when you're in the shadows, it seems a lot more atmospheric and moody. But there isn't a lot to it, and ray tracing will obviously get better the more it's adopted. But yes, this actually surprised me because I was expecting 4K 30 with ray tracing, but it's about 4K between 48 and 60.
Right.
Well, probably 48 and like 55, 56.
So it doesn't take that big a hit.
No, it doesn't actually. So if you were to play it, like I was actually playing on ray tracing for quite a bit because I had to get up to speed on the special edition.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like those 8 frames. I mean, they're not massive in the grand scheme of things. Like, I didn't feel like my combat was suffering. But yeah, Rich. So it takes a slight hit on the frame rate, but not an incredible amount.
That's all right.
And there are times that it is 60. It's just when you're in combat, it probably drops to like 48 at the lowest.
Yeah, I think I'd play with ray tracing on.
I will. So I'm going to play it. I'm actually going to complete it this time.
Oh, nice one. Yeah, you totally should.
Yeah, and I'm going to play with ray tracing because it looks great. I love the kind of mood, but it's hard to kind of recommend that if you've already played it to go back and redo it. I don't think it's that much of a draw.
No.
But anyway, Rich, that's Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition, and that is out now. That's the ray tracing mode. Thank you very much for watching, folks. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Cheers, folks. Bye.
Bye.